Yo, yo, yo. So I'm gonna do another little maintenance I spoke about. I will be cleaning my mass airflow sensor. I just got the cleaner, so what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna disconnect the negative battery terminal. Then I'm gonna unplug the mass airflow sensor there, right here. Then I'm gonna unscrew it and take it out. I'm gonna clean it. And then I'm also going to take apart, I'm going to take off this ventilation from my air duct. I'm going to remove this entire hose here, and I'll have access to my throttle body in there. And I'm just going to clean it out. It's never been done, but I imagine it's going to be filled with carbon. So I got a special cleaner for that too. Put it all back together. The car already runs great. This is just might even help a little bit better. Why not? It's cheap, it's maintenance, and it's actually some things you can do to your car to make it actually run better. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to disconnect the battery first, the negative terminal. Then I'm going to remove the mass airflow sensor connection here, then take it out and clean it. When I put it all back together, the car is going to run. I'm going to drive it for about 15-20 minutes. The computer is going to reprogram itself with the new airflow ratio and whatnot, and it's going to adjust back the fuel and everything, and then hopefully the car runs even better than normal. So right now the car is running like $1,000,000, like a clock. So what I'm going to do now is probably just going to help it a little bit more. So I'm about to start that right now.
I don't know what you want from me. That's too much. How can I? How can I? How can I? How can I get over?
You guys see that? It says Toyota. I tell you, Denso, all Toyota parts. Surprisingly, after 15 years, the sensor in there, that little line, is actually not dirty. It's not that bad, so I'm still going to clean it out and see what happens. So this is what I'm going to be using, CRC's mass airflow cleaner. So this stuff's only $8 a Canadian Tire. Why not? Makes a big difference. So I got the sensor here, sprayed it with the cleaner. I'm just gonna let it sit there for about 20 minutes, dry out completely before I put it back in there. And right now I'm going to try to tackle the throttle body and see how much carbon's in that guy. So this guy was already pretty clean, surprisingly. So I'm gonna try the throttle body right now.
I don't know what you want from me. That's too much. How can I? How can I? How can I? How can I get over?
fact, I forgot I got my SA Plus on 60 frames a second, so the cutout time is 10 minutes. So anyways, what I did was, obviously you can see I took apart the throttle body assembly. From there, I got the hose here, and had to take it off because I couldn't get access to the throttle body properly. You can see it in there, it's inside there. So I'm going to clean it out. Let me see, turn it. You can see all the black, so a lot of carbon. So surprisingly, it's not that bad. Actually, you can see some carbon around it. So I'm going to spray some. I'm only using CRC throttle body cleaner for this. So there's a specific cleaner for this too. I paid $9 for that cleaner. And like I said, if this stuff, I had a Civic, bam, bam, right there. This guy here. One time the engine light came on and the car was idling and choking itself, and turns out the guy was nice and he taught me that these things get dirty, and as soon as he cleaned it out, the engine light went off and the car was running great. So that's how I knew throttle body is something that's very easy to clean, but it can also be a nightmare if it goes bad. And like I said, these are simple things. If this goes bad, a mechanic will never tell you. He's going to make you pay a lot of money to fix something that's not even wrong, and all he's going to do is clean it, and he's going to charge you hundreds of dollars. So this is preventative maintenance. Like I said, the car was running like a clock before this, so this is just going to help it run a little better. And if it was really dirty and I clean it out, well, best case scenario is I gain a couple of horsepower and the car runs even smoother. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to spray it, I'm going to clean it, I'm going to put it all back to, actually before I put it back together, I'm going to let the throttle body dry out so there's no vapors in there. From what I read, the car may not start right away after a couple of cranks. It's gonna have to burn out all the vapors from the cleaner in there, and then when it starts, I'm gonna take it for a drive for about 20 minutes, and then the computer should reprogram itself by then. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. If you're just wondering, this is what I'm using: CRC throttle body cleaner. In America, you guys don't have this. You guys have a better one that I actually wanted, but it's the same product. We just label it a little different in Canada. I think in America it's called CRC throttle body and air cleaner, something like that. But it's the same stuff. Only use this stuff. I know a lot of guys spray carb cleaner in there, but like I said, this is made for that stuff. The stuff dissolves quickly. It doesn't leave any residue. And like I said, you don't want to screw up your car just by going cheap and using something else. This is only $9. So you can probably clean 50, 60 cars with this alone. I notice now when I spray it, the water inside is a lot cleaner. Before, when I sprayed, it was completely black, so it means I probably got a lot of gunk out there. I don't know if you can see. It's a lot cleaner, and the liquid now is almost clear. Before, when I was spraying it, it was pitch black. So I'm pretty sure I removed a lot of carbon, all the black stuff you can see here. Another Kleenex up there too. So I'm going to continue to clean this, and then that'll be about it. So if you guys can see now, let me zoom in there. She's a lot cleaner than she was before. See that? So I'm going to put everything back together. I'm going to let that air out about 15 minutes while I put the mass airflow sensor back. It looks like it might rain, so I want to do all that before it's done. Put everything back together, start the car, and get her to start going. This is why I love Toyota. They make everything so easy. When you're putting back the tube back, air duct tube or whatever you call it, see there's little, zoom in. See there's this little gap or this little groove here. If you notice on the intake holes, there's a hole here and it fits in, so it lines up, so you can't make a mistake, so you know how far to bring it and where to line it up. Same thing with this one right here. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little thing there, a little gap or whatever that fits the tube, and it lines up perfectly. You see the little wire in the middle now, the little sensor in the middle? It's completely shine. It's completely, you can see all of the silver in it, so it means it's pretty much clean now. So if it's, a lot of times it's completely black, it means it's full of carbon, and your car is going to have problems detecting how much airflow is going through, and it's going to have problems adjusting the fuel ratio and all that stuff. So clean one is best. And once again, Toyota designed this thing with this little groove here. It can only go in one way. Dummy proof. So I dropped one of the mass airflow sensor screws down there, and I found it, but luckily for me, I always had a magnet, telescopic magnet. These things come in handy. So I'm gonna put it all back together and start her up and see what happens. All right, people, the rain broke down, so came down, so I had to stop what I was doing and come back. So like I said, I dropped one of the mass airflow sensor screws down there, but I had a magnet and I was able to get it back. So everything is put back together. The battery's connected. The engine cover is back on. The hoses and clamps are all tightened back. The sensor is back in there. Everything's back together. So the car has had over 40 minutes to dry out any vapors from the cleaner. So I'm gonna start it now, and hopefully she starts. I'm gonna let it run for about 10 minutes. D-re-me. So like video showed, it took about 2 tries to get it the first time. It just cranked, but it wouldn't start. I gave a little bit of gas and held the ignition, and then it started right up. So right now I'm gonna let her run for about 10 minutes. The RPMs are gonna go down, and then I'm gonna go take it for a drive around the block and see how it goes from there. So right now the car is running on her own. Pamela, by the way. Everything's running good right now so far. So I'm just gonna let it run. You can hear the ignition going down right now. I mean, it's revving a lot less, so that's a good sign. So I'm just gonna let it run for 10 minutes, and I'm gonna come back and take her for a ride. Yo, so I'm back. I came to get some food, checking the car, and you can see the car is running like a clock at 900 RPM. Remember, this is a 15-year-old car with about 400k, running like a clock. You can see it right there, 900 RPM. She's running smooth so far. So I guess the job was successful. This is fairly easy. Alright, so another successful job. I took it for about a 20-25 minute drive around the block, around everywhere. I picked up some shawarmas. She's driving great. Maybe it's just me, but the car feels a little bit peppier off the line, picks up a little bit faster. So I might have gained 1 or 2 horsepower, who knows? And it seems you can hear it now, it's running smoothly. 15-year-old car, 400k. So this was a successful throttle body and mass airflow sensor cleaning. Something easy and something you can do every year. So I looked it up. I think mechanics probably charge about 100 to 150 bucks to do this job. If I had to do it again, I could probably do it in half the time now that I know and I'm confident where everything is and how to take everything apart. But that's about it.